like going to Turkey or somewhere and getting plugs, getting the old transplant thing, right? Because it's so cheap
Rooney.
now. Yeah, exactly. Comparatively, it's still thousands of pounds, but I think it's like you can get a deal for like $2,500-3,000 to go to Turkey. All your flights are covered, your hotel's covered. They pick you up from the airport. All this job, you can buy a package, and have a week in the sun while you're at it. But,
that's not a bad idea. I think my instinct is get rid of it because it's just easier. But I think actually it's probably quite a lot of upkeep, keeping your head shaved.
Well, yeah, it's true, isn't it? The shorter your hair, the more you have to get it cut because it looks rattier quicker, right?
Right. Well, it's like your face, right? If you can't leave your face for a few days without it looking a bit shabby.
Yeah, definitely.
If you want to be clean shaven, is what I mean.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm yet to meet anyone personally that's gone for the transplant. I know I know a mate of a mate that's done it and seen pictures, and it looks decent, to be honest. I mean, he's a bit older, but it does look all right. I think the thing is though, even after you've had the transplant, it doesn't behave quite the same way as your normal hair would. You know how hair sort of falls in a certain way. I think even the blokes that have transplant, they still keep it quite short. So it's just so it looks real, basically. I know it is real hair, but I think it just looks better shorter. So you're still going to have to keep it quite short anyway. So
right, okay.
Might as well just bick it all over, get the razor out.
That's what I reckon. Just get rid of it.
Jobs are
get
good.
rid.
Yeah. I'm going to go for the 90s. Early 90s vibe, mate. I'm going to go. Yeah. I'm going to let it go bald, but I'm going to keep it on the side. I'm not.
Do it.
I'm going to be like full on, Prince William style. You know how when he started going bald, he was still mate. He left it on the side. I'm just going to embrace it. I'm just going to buy like a 90s Porsche and just do that. Going to grow the tash. And just not be ashamed.
If our life was a movie and we did that like fast forward into our futures, that is 100% what you'd be. You'd turn up to a Porsche with the headlights that go into the bonnet, and you'll be stepping out of it, and you'll go to your hair and like push it aside as if it were there, but there's nothing there. Yeah.
Oh mate, I love it. I'm just gonna be like, and what? I'm bored and I've just got it's bushy on the sides. I don't care. Like the whole rich guy look.
Or you're the chosen one that breaks the trend of the family and it just stays there strong until the rest of your days.
Yeah. I'm not going to put money on it, but that's throwing good money after bad. But when I was younger,
one, mate.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Oh God, I wish. Well, when I was younger, actually, I think must have been about 16 or something. When I was still at home, I said came back from the barbers and said to my dad, like, "Oh, I've tried a new barber's today. Like, it's just a nightmare finding a good barber. Like." I try this one, he's not very good. Try another one, he's a bit different, but not very good. This one's cheaper, this one's more expensive. And I said to him, I think finding a good barber is going to be it's going to be a lifelong challenge. And he says, I don't think it is, Cock.
He sat you down, did he?
Yeah, he said,
sat you down, he gave you a drink. Yeah, he's like, take a sip of that first. Let me tell you something.
Oh, dear. This was before he told me about how babies are made. He's like, listen, son, important things first. Get all your haircuts in before you turn 25, because then it's downhill from there.
Put the macaroni painting you've made me at preschool down. All right, I need to tell you something.
Oh, big time. So what are you drinking, mate?
Today, this is a little bit leading on from last week. I had a porter last week, and we had a discussion about Guinness. Is it porter? Is it stout? I quickly Googled it before the episode, and they call it a stout, an Irish stout. So I'm saying it's a stout from now on. So I bought myself a stout from the Black Sheep Brewery, which is up the neck in Harrogate, rather, near where my brother lives. So, and whenever he's at a family get together, when they happen again, he always brings a load of Black Sheep with him. So, and it's always been good. But I've never had this, and it's called Milk Stout, which is
it's good for babies.
I don't know whether it's
good for the kids.
Well, they say like if you're pregnant, a pint of Guinness isn't a bad thing.
Oh yeah.
Do not listen to me if I'm not a doctor, but that's what I've heard.
Because of the iron in it, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure the alcohol might counteract the goodness of the iron. I don't know,
Yeah.
but
this episode's going to have to come with a warning from the Director General, Health Director General, saying,
yeah, with someone's like flaccid cigarette or something. I don't know.
yeah. Oh Jesus.
Whatever they're trying to use to scare people off nowadays.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So it's called Milk Stout, which doesn't. I don't know. For some reason, it sounds horrible. The name.
Right. Yeah.
Like I bought it in spite of that name. I don't know why.
Milk Stout.
It
sounds good to me. It sounds like it's going to be sort of creamy and
yeah. I get what they're going for.
Sweet and milky.
Maybe I'm thinking of Always Sunny in Philadelphia. The guy talks about milk steak a lot, and that sounds disgusting, but that's a weird reference. Anyway, so this is, a milk stout, similar to the porter I had last. I don't know the difference between a stout and a porter, to be totally honest.
Okay.
But it doesn't have that metallic taste that the one I had last week had, the Sainsbury's finest porter. But yeah, it is very creamy. Very rich. It doesn't have any of the sort of like burnt bread, sort of roasted notes that the porter did. So maybe that's something to do with the difference between the two.
I can tell you if you like.
Oh, yeah, great.
I did a bit of quick Googling. And apparently the biggest difference between stouts and porters are the kind of malt used during brewing. So porters use malted barley. Stouts primarily use unmalted roasted barley.
Wow, that interesting. So that's the exact opposite of what I'm getting. So I got the roasted flavours from that porter,
right?
Yes, last week, and I'm not getting it with this. But they say they use the roasted barley for this one. Interesting.
Apparently, yeah, unmalted roasted barley in what you're drinking right now. Apparently,
so it's not as flavourful really as the porter I had, but it's not got that weird metallic taste to it. So I'm enjoying it. It's nice. It's not a Guinness though. I would rather Guinness, to be totally honest.
Right. Apparently,
yeah.
I mean, as everyone knows, I'm not a massive stout or porter fan, but apparently stouts have this signature coffee flavour. Are you getting any of that? Any sort of coffee beans?
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
Again, though, I got that in the last one, but I don't feel like I'm picking up. This is the second one I've had tonight, and maybe it's numbing my taste buds somewhat, but right. I'm not getting a huge amount of flavour out of it, to be totally honest.
Fair.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be able to pick coffee out of that. Had you not said that, I don't think I would have. So
interesting.
I'm getting sort of just sort of a definitely like a beery, bittery. I guess coffee. I don't know. It's like a weaker Guinness,
right?
Maybe like a weaker Guinness is what I'd go for. But I wouldn't. So maybe slightly meaty, that sort of meaty, that like, you know, that when you first take a first sip and that little bit of foam of the Guinness gets in your mouth and it's got like a bit of meat to it.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd say that, but I don't know. I'm not a connoisseur.
Cool. I'm going American today, mate. I've got a Beavertown Gamma Ray. Have you ever had one of those? American Pale Ale, 5.4%. And despite me sort of dissing the tins of American Pale Ale, craft ale last week, that's exactly what I've got this week, right? Because I made some homemade fried chicken, like KFC style, like deep, you know, in the oil and that, you know, made my own 11 herbs and spices and all that, and gave it a go, right? And it was a great success. But I thought, you know, before I made that, I was like, I need some American Pale Ale. I want that flavour combo when I'm, you know, I want to drink that while I'm eating this chicken. So, I've got a couple of tins left over, and it's great. I mean, you know, I say it all the time, but they all taste the same to me, these sort of American Pale Ales, that sort of fruity, tropical, mango-y. It's got that orangey, you know, if you pour it into a glass, it's got that orangey sort of cloudy appearance. But it tastes great. It does exactly what I want it to do in the moment. You know, I want it to go with sort of barbecued meats or fried chicken or chicken wings or that sort of thing. So I'll always go for an American Pale Ale. But I did a bit of research on it, and the Beavertown Brewery started in East London, I think sort of Hackney Wick sort of way, and there's a restaurant maybe about 20 seconds from where I used to live in Haggerston, Dalston way.
Oh, right.
And that was called Duke's Brew and Q. Don't know if you've ever heard of that. It's one of the sort of famous London barbecue joints. And I think after the guy who started this brewery in his shed or whatever, like they usually do, I think he tried to use this barbecue restaurant as a way of like getting his beer in. So I think he made it and either sold it to them or did a deal with them or a partnership or something. And they started selling it. Then he obviously made money and got a name for himself, started the brewery proper, and now he's got a proper brewery,
Amazing.
And now it's on sale in Sainsbury's. So I think he started it in 2011. So it's not been long since he started it, and now it's
That's
on
crazy,
sale
isn't
for
it?
an extortionate amount in Sainos.
Yeah, God. We'll let him off though.
Yeah.
So is this the guy that sold barrels to Glenfiddich for aging their whiskey in?
Oh no, that's different guy. So I know
Different guy.
I know that
different
guy
brewery.
personally, yeah. But whereas the Beavertown guy, I don't know him.
Okay.
I've just read about him.
I see. Cool. Sorry.
But yeah, in fact, that's a good shout out actually. I don't know his bloody surname. I've met him so many times, but I only know him as Seb, right? But this chap has a brewery in Scotland, and he did this. He was doing really well for himself, and he basically done a deal with Glenfiddich, and I'll have to try and remember what he's doing now, because I think they're switching barrels. That's it.
Yeah.
So the barrels that he's using to make his beer in, he's sort of swapping with Glenfiddich for their Scotch barrels, and he's sort of aging beer in it, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
Which I think
that stuff's great.
is I think I don't know whether you can get it now, because I feel like it was a short run, but I remember you telling me that story, because this was probably a few years ago, right? Or a couple of years ago you told me about this?
Yeah, this was like, oh geez, must have been 3 years. 3 years ago I told you about that.
Glenfiddich released a few years ago, just after you told me this, I went into Sainsbury's and I saw that they had on the shelves a Glenfiddich IPA finished non-age statement whiskey. Oh, geez. Technical difficulties.
So this mate of mine, his name is Seb Jones, and if you go on the Glenfiddich website, he's right up there. He's got a very individual, interesting look. He's got like a big sort of quiff mohawk thing going on, and he's got these wraparound sunnies. But yeah, he does he's sort of like the boss of this Glenfiddich malt finished in IPA casks. Basically.
That's it, yeah. So I was going to say, I saw that. I saw that after you told me about it, and I obviously assumed it was him that was behind it. I don't know. I don't see it very often in the supermarket anymore, so I don't know whether it was like a short run thing or
maybe
whether that's going on anymore. But
I mean, I just got it up online, and it's still the website's still going strong. He's still on there. The beer's called Speyside Craft Brewery, basically.
Cool.
So yeah, shout out to Seb. He's a good lad. He's a great musician as well. He's a good bass player, which is how I know him. Yeah, but
cool.
Yeah, I've had a few drams of that for sure, and it is fantastic. Yeah, I could highly recommend that. Oh, mate, I had a question for you. Right?
Okay.
This is a big one. It's food related, but it's the most important food question of your life. Right?
Oh, Jesus! All right.
Set the scene. You're in Arkansas. You're on death row, right? You've got 12 hours. You've got one last request. What is that final meal you're going to eat?
It's a bloody good question. I feel like I watched a video on YouTube of this, of like some of the weirdest final meals that some serial killers have had in the past, and they had to like guess.
This is right up my street.
But they're like, because they're all like these serial killer guys, so they're trying to like psych out people like to the last day of their life, you know. So they're ordering like ice cream and Skittles and stuff. Like, it's just weird stuff. Anyway, gosh, this is a big question. Have you thought about yours?
Yeah, I tried to think, but I'm like, I love food so much. I kept going round in circles. I think I've narrowed it down.
I'll tell you what, it depends who's cooking it. Is it like the local prison chef cooking it?
No, you can have whatever from wherever, even if it doesn't work out in reality.